The Alleghany Journal is joined this afternoon by Kelly Huff, Director of Secondary Instruction for Alleghany County Schools, and Fred Vaughan, the Director of Human Resources. And we had a little discussion earlier this week about upcoming school and what's going on, what's the plan. And they said, hey, we'd like to come in and talk about it. So we thank you very much for coming to the Journal and trying to inform everybody.
Thanks for having us.
Kelly, the planning for the current school year apparently started in March. Tell everybody what the FLEC group is.
All righty. Back in March, when we had the executive order that schools were going to be shut down, we made the decision at the school board office, at the central office, that we needed a crew to help drive us through COVID-19. Instructionally was the focus of it, although it has branched out a little bit from there. FLEC stands for the Future of Learning and Education Crew.
And it's quite a big group.
It turned into a very big group. At first it was about 20 individuals, and now we're close to 40. It contains school counselors, parents, students, administrators, teachers, teacher aides, you name it, it is on the group to try to represent our demographic. We started with how are we going to finish the school year. Then we picked up when the school year finished, how are we going to start a school year? We met every other week until school is now getting closer to starting, and now we meet every week on Thursdays. We meet anywhere between an hour and 2 hours, and we talk about everything from health mitigation to safety to transportation to building, cleaning, to and definitely instruction is the focus of it.
This is a puzzle, a magnificent puzzle, I would imagine. And so the various members of this group, including parents, are trying to give the perspectives that you need to be able to foster this plan, which will eventually come into place on September the 9th.
Absolutely. And that's part of the representation of it, is that we feel we have a little bit of breadth of all of our demographic to represent and to speak up and to represent. The teachers range from special education to mathematics to elementary, and it really has been a magnificent thing. At first, I was a little nervous. That many people, can we function? Can we do what we need to do with that many voices, that many opinions, that many individuals coming to the table? And now the more the merrier. It is a magnificent, dynamic group, and they have done a wonderful job in helping to create the various plans that we have to go back to school. Right now, with the hybrid plan that parents, I believe, know about now. They've had letters from their principals letting them know about the hybrid plan. But we also have our 100% remote plan if people would like to do that and have challenges with coming back into a school building. And then we also have the when we're ready to open. When Governor Northam gives us the double thumbs up, and hopefully we can re-encumber our buildings to 100% capacity. So the team really has taken on so much, and I'm so grateful to have them. I know everybody in the system is.
Well, you did a great job at the last school board meeting, and I would imagine, Fred, with your position, understanding and trying to refine a health safety plan, mitigation of any potential problems, that must have been quite a challenge.
It is, and speaking related to FLEC, as Ms. Huff has talked about, instruction is a critically important part, but we want to do this in a safe manner for both our students and our staff. And this has been an evolving process. It has been a plan that has changed and evolved. Just like the instructional piece, the health piece has also changed. We continue to receive guidance from CDC, the Virginia Department of Health, Department of Education. The terminology that we often hear from the Department of Education is to be flexible, be prepared to adjust your planning. And what we know and the guidance we know today looks very different than perhaps a month ago or 2 months ago. So it is a moving challenge, no doubt.
So how do you keep up with the changing language and requirements and guidelines and that kind of thing? I would imagine at yesterday's session, the consultant from the Department of Emergency Management mentioned a number of strategies and really challenged the entire school administration. Did you learn anything from that session yesterday?
Absolutely. Yesterday's tabletop training that we received from Virginia Department of Emergency Management was outstanding. It confirmed for us that we have a solid plan, that we have a framework, and we're ready to go. With that, there are areas that we need to tweak and fill in and make sure that we're prepared. Yesterday's activity provided some scenarios, some activities that would put us into a classroom scenario, a school scenario. How are we going to react? What is our processes? What is our communication plan? And it helped us to discuss it, and the entire administrative team, along with health individuals from the Department of Health were there, VDEM were there as well, and it really helped us in clarifying some of our planning and some of the areas that we want to get better at before school actually starts up.
And Kelly, what would you say are some of the strengths of the health plan? Obviously, social distancing. Are there other things that the public wouldn't just be able to reel off of hand?
Absolutely, and I'm going to use an example just before we got here. Out of the tabletop discussion that we had yesterday and the exercises we did yesterday, we realized we had a little gap. That gap today in a meeting with some administrators, Mr. Vaughan, myself, some principals, our nurse manager. We put together what we're gonna call our decision trees. Our decision trees is, if this happens, this is how we're going to react.
A flow chart?
A flow chart. And then what that does too, what came out of yesterday's meeting, is we want to make sure that the messaging from all of our buildings is consistent. What is going on at Mountain View is going on at Alleghany High School, is going on at Clifton, is going on at Sharon, is going on at Callahan. And those flow charts and decision trees really kind of help with that. And we kind of took that from the CDC and the VDH and the VDOE, because they've used those quite extensively. So we kind of drew on those ideas, and we're putting those together to help make everybody feel better. Teachers, students, administrators, parents, that see, we do have a plan in place. And that just came about yesterday and started today. So
well, consistency is really important.
Oh, yes.
And Fred, we're used to your news releases after school board meetings, so you're the communicator, or at least one of them in the school division. What will happen as a result of a weekly interaction with students coming up now? It's been something that really hasn't happened for since the beginning of March. How important is it for you to be able to communicate to the public exactly what's going on?
Related to our processes, this is one example, and we appreciate you taking time to allow us to come down here and speak with you. Next week at the school board meeting, our meeting, we will provide further information related to our plan, the idea of clarifying any kind of questions that we may have or the school board may have, and we want the public to be alert and aware to those. We are communicating, as Ms. Huff has described. Principals have already sent letters home to all of our parents. They have been in contact with telephone calls throughout the summer, communicating, answering those kind of questions. We encourage any parent or anybody from the community, look back at our webpage. We have some very detailed planning that you can reference. That referencing is updated as you said earlier, new guidance comes in. And we just received new guidance from the CDC Tuesday, and so it continues to evolve.
Well, the messaging from the governor, I'm sure it's been considered good, but it's varying, and at sometimes during the summer it would change weekly. So I guess one of the key questions here that public would like to know is if they have a question, if a county parent has a question, what is the best way to submit that, and how would an answer be received?
I would recommend that a parent contact their child's school and talk with the school administrator with a specific question. Our principals have been involved in this process all through. They are well versed on what our plans are. If further information is necessary, please don't hesitate to reach out to any of us at the school board office through email, a phone call. We'll be more than happy to speak to anybody.
And Kelly, what a time to have a job, a relatively new job, as Director of Secondary Instruction.
Yes, it has been unprecedented. Mr. Callahan, the Director of Elementary Instruction, we just finished out our first year in this role, and quite a year it has been. The two of us have agreed that we think we can take on anything now.
And all along the way this summer, the Alleghany County School Board and staff have had challenges like they've never seen before. And Fred, you're the Director of Personnel. It's been something that you've never seen before.
Absolutely.
Talk about how the staff has behaved and worked hard this summer to try to create this reality that'll start on September 9th.
We are facing a challenge unlike any in modern history related to the opening of schools. And we realize that, and I am so proud to be part of the staff that is Alleghany County Public Schools, from the central office staff to the staff that delivered the lunches and breakfasts, the bus drivers and our cafeteria staffs, to the staff that came out and helped in that delivery process, the planning, the continued planning, the revisions that continue and continue and continue. We're going to be ready. I will tell you that we are going to be ready. We're going to put out what we feel is the best plan, the safest plan for our students and for our staff. We know that, and we are looking forward to this, but it is a challenge. There's absolutely no doubt this is a challenge.
And one final question. What mathematician created the busing and transportation plan?
That would be Ben Truitt.
It's one thing to be the head of transportation and maintenance, but this year's bus schedule has got to be some kind of, it must have been done by some kind of mathematical formula.
Ben Truitt and Marion Nicely have worked hours and hours on the transportation, along with school staff, administration, central office administration, identifying students, identifying student homes. When you're looking at the A schedules and the B schedules, there has been a tremendous amount of time and effort going into that scheduling, and it has been no easy task.
And Kelly, technology and instruction are almost inseparable now. How do people with very poor internet access in Alleghany County, or none at all, how is the school system dealing with that?
Well, we have two things that we've implemented. The first thing is that we purchased MiFis. They're mobile hotspots, essentially, for families that need some help with their internet and their connectivity. Students are going to be able to check those out through the library based on some criteria. The other thing that we are offering for students, say that live in certain areas in Potts Creek, Sweet Collegiate, they don't have connectivity at all. Even with the MiFi, it's not going to help them because there is no internet service. Based on conversations that they have with their principals, their building principals, they may be granted to be part of our special population and have access to the buildings more readily if they need. Their Chromebooks, when they get within range of the building, will automatically connect, download what they've been working on, upload what they need for their teachers and things. students. And just to point out, Mr. Allman, our Director of Technology, has done a fantastic job. We have purchased web cameras for every teacher in the division. We have purchased the MiFi. He has worked with our internet providers to understand our population and who has connectivity and who doesn't, so that we, as instructional directors, can help our principals, can help our teachers, and can help our students and make sure they have what they need, along with purchasing of Chromebook tablets for preschool population, Chromebooks for grades, the lower grades, kindergarten, first, second, third. Mr. Allman has been wonderful, and if you want to talk about one person that hasn't slept a whole lot, that's your man.
I guess there's been a need for PPE and other supplies that heretofore weren't necessary.
That's absolutely correct. And Mr. Truitt has been working closely with our nurse manager, Donna Harris, in securing PPE that is necessary for the schools, additional cleaning supplies, other mitigation supplies that we are going to use in the schools, on the school buses, signage, you name it. He has been working very, very hard in securing those for the school division, along with the transportation piece.
Well, we're looking forward to seeing both of you at the next school board meeting, especially that flamboyant and informative report you always give. And we thank you very much for joining us today.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you so much. We appreciate it.